Hello, my young scientists. This is Mr. Ferris. I'm outside in my backyard right now, and it's actually quite a windy day here. It's Monday for me. There's a lot of wind blowing around, so hopefully it won't get into the microphone on my computer too much, and you'll still be able to hear me. But even if the sound of the wind does cover me up, it would be somewhat appropriate because I want to talk to you today about sound. So in science, I've talked about the importance of observation. And that is making observations about things so we can learn about them. So I've had you observe different specimens in the classroom and things like that. But when we think of observation, we tend to think of looking at something and describing what it looks like. That's not the only way to make observations. God gave us several different senses, and the five main senses that we have are sight, being able to see things; smell, being able to, of course, smell things; taste; hearing, being able to hear sounds; and feel. So I can, feel leaves or something like that. So those are the main senses that we have. There's a few others, but I won't go into those right now. We can actually use any of those senses to make good observations. Making observations is just using your senses to gather data or gather information about the world around you. So today I want to give you a little mini lesson on what sound is, and then how to make good observations using your ears. So first off, let's go into a brief lesson on what sound actually is. We know what it is. I mean, you're hearing me right now, and maybe you heard some birds this morning, or the sound of yourself chewing as you ate breakfast, or who knows what. We hear sounds around us all the time. But what actually is a sound? So, how is it that a sound gets from, say, a trumpet to my ear? How do I hear that trumpet? And the way that works is sound is actually caused by vibrations. So vibrations is just when you have something shaking back and forth really, really quickly. So it's very, very quick movement. And vibrations cause the air to vibrate too. And it's actually kind of like in water when you get waves. So if you throw a stone into the water, it disturbs the surface of that water, and there's waves that spread out from where that stone hit. It's the same way with sound. If I throw a rock and say it hits the driveway over there, that rock is going to create some vibrations, and those vibrations are going to travel outwards in waves. So there's these waves that travel outward in a circle from wherever the vibration is made, and that's what the sound is. We have special stuff inside our ears that lets us pick up on those vibrations, and it converts it into sound for our brain. So when you hear something, you're really just hearing vibrations that are moving through the air. So that's how your computer speaker works, that's how instruments work, that's how your vocal cords work. They're all making vibrations. Speaking of vocal cords, you can actually prove this to yourself by feeling your voice box, which is right there on your neck. You can kind of feel it. And if you hum, you'll feel the vibrations. Or you can, like I'm doing, just hold it while you're talking, and you can feel the vibrations moving, vibrating your vocal cords inside your neck, inside your voice box there. So vibrations is what sound is, and your ears pick those up. Now what's interesting is actually it takes sound some time to travel, and that's where you can get echoes. Like if I yell at a house that's really far away, I might hear that sound bounce off and come back, because sound, it doesn't travel as fast as things like light. It's actually somewhat slow. So that's why sometimes you'll see something happen far away and you won't hear it until it actually gets closer. There might be a second delay or something like that. But anyways, let's talk about how to use sound to make good observations. As human beings, we are used to using our eyes to gather lots of information about the world around us. And it makes sense. If I had to lose any one of my senses, it would not be my eyes. It would probably be taste or smell or something. Because it's such a valuable sense. But there are some animals out there that use different senses to move around. Like the bat moves around using its ears. It uses echolocation to hear where it is. Or you have things like a catfish moves around by taste. It tastes the water around it and it moves itself towards its food. Or like a little worm, it's by feel. It feels its way around in the ground. So different animals can use different senses. And given that we have all those senses, we can sort of use those to get some interesting information about the world around us. So what I want to encourage you guys to do, especially if it happens to be a beautiful day, if not, you can wait for a beautiful day, Go outside, preferably. You can do this inside too, but it's even more fun to go outside and just lay in the grass and use your ears. Close your eyes and use your ears to hear the world around you and see if you can start to kind of build a picture of what the world looks like using sound. So some of the things you might hear would include wind and maybe birds, maybe some bugs, perhaps some cars, some people talking, depending on where you are. There'll be lots of different things for you to hear. And see what you can understand about the world by using your ears. So I'll give you a quick demonstration. I'm not going to do it for as long as it would be good to do it. I'll just show you very quickly what that can look like, and it's going to look very, very relaxing, actually. So what you can do is you can just go over to the grass and lay out in the grass, close your eyes, and listen to the world around you. You can even cup your hands around your ears, and that will help you to hear better. And right now I can hear some wind in the trees. I hear birds. I can maybe even hear a little bit of the rustling grass. Our grass hasn't been cut in a little while. So I can start to think about what can I learn by using my ears. And some of the things I was able to pick up just from those few seconds is being able to hear that it's a windy day. You can sometimes even tell what direction the wind is blowing. Like maybe I hear a big gust of wind hit a tree over there, and then that big gust of wind hits this tree over here. And so I know that it's moving in this direction. Other things you can learn about birds. You can hear different bird songs and maybe hear birds talking back and forth to each other. Or you might notice there's a bird here singing, 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 and then that bird no longer is there, and suddenly it's over here singing, singing, singing. So you can hear the bird move around. So I want to encourage you to go outside and just sit down and close your eyes and listen to the world around you and see what you can learn. You might be surprised at how relaxing it is, first off, but also just how much good stuff there is for you to hear. So don't not think of your other senses when you think of observations. Of course, sight is a very, very good sense to have, but you should learn to use your ears and perhaps your fingers for touch and smell as well, because there's a lot of good things you can learn about the world around you. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this lesson, and I hope you can get out and enjoy the different senses that God gives you. I hear a jet overhead now, so I know there's a plane flying overhead. Other things you can learn by sound. Anyways, take care, and enjoy the beautiful weather.